Okay, welcome to the Sunday Shop Update. Today we're going to be talking about mitre clamps and the best way to glue up mitre joints. So while I was in the States I bought these. They're from Woodpecker. They're really good. They're kind of similar to these which I've been using for ages and I did show you on another video. The problem with these ones is that when you're doing your 45s, it's really hard sometimes to get a clamp to stick and give it real good pressure. You can end up getting the back pulling out. These are still really useful though for sort of odd angles, and I wouldn't be without them. But I'll show you how these woodpeckers work. So you're going to clamp these on here, whichever the piece is. This is quite a difficult one because it's quite a big kind of picture frame mitre. And then you just bring in your clamp on here, nice and close to the corner. And it's giving you, I mean that's a lot of clamping pressure now. So that is a very tight, so that gives a really nice joint. Now you've got the age-old problem that we're on one corner and we're using 3 clamps, and this is going to get obviously bigger and bigger as we do more joints, but really good, and I think they're a great tool to have around. They do a pack, I'll put a link in to the States, I think there's a pack of 8 that I bought, and I think they work out at around about £8 each. So not too bad, and they're going to be used on tons of stuff. So a very different mitre on this. This is 35mm of pliers. This is a little sofa table. There's a couple of ways we could do that. We could use the Woodpecker again, and they would definitely work. We'd need 4 of them, and then obviously double up on all the clamps, but that's a possibility. On certain jobs like this, I really like using, as you've seen, this 5-minute epoxy. Now, I reckon it's going to be close. I know it sounds crazy, but to get this perfect, you're going to preset this up, take it to bits, put your 5-minute epoxy on and clamp it, and you really want to get that clamp perfectly within about a minute or 2 to get the 100% strength from this permabond. So we couldn't really use something like this, which is going to be fiddly. Now I've tried to use these in the past. I don't know what your guys, what you think of these, but I've found this to be super fiddly, especially with an object like this. It's super fiddly. Balance that there because of the weight, and it doesn't always do what it says it's going to do, which is pull that mitre in. Sometimes they work on small things, but on a big thing like this we're really going to stress that joint, and I doubt we're going to get a straight glue up. So I've found those to be pretty useless. It's, occasionally obviously these little picture frames, this is a kind of old one, picture framing. Again, this tends to drag the joint apart, or it pulls one up so your mitre is offset. It's never quite right. So definitely better than both of those are these, for sure. On the smaller midway stuff, when I was doing the Mammalium walk-in wardrobe system, these worked really well. They're very inexpensive. Again, I'll put a link, little wolf clamps. They wouldn't work on this because it's too big. So I've got some furniture designs in the pipeline, and I was wondering how to speed up these mitre joints and how not to use tons of clamps. So while I was at the NEC show this year, I come across this Lamello system. Now I've not used it, hadn't used it before. So one of the key factors in the Lamello system is you've got a clip fixing, which would be for pushing together a glue up, and I'll show you that. Or you've got the breakdown joints, which I'm more interested in. As you know, in my Domino XL builds on furniture, I'm trying to ship this furniture worldwide, this kind of designer furniture. Now for me, that system looked absolutely perfect. The breakdown joints, the really quick glue ups, clamp free, but it's quite a big investment. So I phoned around to see if I could hire a machine. I couldn't find one. So I phoned Lamello and actually got Shay, one of the reps from Lamello, to kindly come down and demonstrate the machine in my shop, which I'll show you now.
it's really good. Yeah, that's what I'm happy with that. Some people just follow it too hard.
Okay, so we do these on
the inside,
yeah?
So drop it in, push it up.
And then make sure it's...
That's it, push it so it's in the loop. That's it, drop it down, lock it off. Now you don't have to unlock it for any of the others, it'll stay the same. All you've got to do is just drop it in.
Okay.
So now, drill bit. Just getting comfortable with how you would work.
Yeah, how am I holding it? It's not very comfy, man. I'm not making it look very comfortable, rather.
Spin it. Done.
Yep.
So you've done your lateral adjustment. Is it good?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Right.
So the system I'm interested in is this one, which is a really strong lockable joint. And what it's going to do, you're going to slide it in. Now we've really over-engineered this just on purpose because I wanted to see how the Lamello would work on really large stuff. And what I'm working towards is rivet tables. They are a pain to glue up, especially if you're going to be using this, which you need to get a fast joint. So once you've inserted this, kind of opposite there, see if you can see that, you're going to bring that down. Now the great thing about the Lamello system is about 3 mil of manoeuvring left and right, lateral movement, after you've actually done the holes, unlike say a domino, because that would be the other way to do this. So that's now done, and that is mega strong. You're not going to break that. You can actually see the ply, 35 mil of ply bending. The joint here is not moving. So that's given me a really accurate, you can see that, it's almost like a waterfall. Look, the plies are matching perfectly, and the edge there, there's absolutely zero gap here. As with all these things, there's a small downside, and in this case, it's just the finances. It's just a little bit expensive, but if you're going to be knocking out walk-in wardrobes, which I'm doing some in January for somebody, quite a big system, the difference with these joints, and I'll do a bit more in depth when I buy the machine, the difference with these joints, the glue up time and the handling time for me, I reckon it's less than half to build something with the Lamello than it would be with domino joints and glue up and clamping. So the other thing you can do with Lamello is the glue joint. So this one's actually been used, this is their kind of clip version, rather than using a key, a breakdown, so you won't have the hole. And with this one, you'd simply cut your joint, push this in here, and clip that together. Now, you heard that go, and there's a bit of wiggle if the glue's not set. I can move it a few mil, like this, get that perfect, and there you go. Now, I've got to be honest, of all those connections, how easy was it to glue that? I could be using no problem using a 5-minute glue. I could use a 1-minute epoxy on that. Literally get it ready, glue over it, click it together, that's it done. The other way you could do your glue ups, larger pieces like this, I'll show you a clip, is with a domino and a combination of dominoes to hold the joint square and clamping. So you can see that that system with the domino and the clamps, that works really well. The only issue there is the time it takes to get these joints together. So using the 5-minute epoxies is pretty difficult, because by the time you've got the dominoes in and the epoxy in and you're trying to clamp the joint, you're probably not going to make it in 5 minutes, to be honest. So I can see in the future the domino with the loose setting to give me the structure of the loose tenon, but the movement, lateral movement, and then using the Lamello joint to actually as the clamp just to pull it together. Because it remains to be seen, until I get my machine and do some tests, how strong or how much extra structure that adds. I don't really like relying just on the glue here. I actually have always done things like put loose tenons through, even for speed. I've put a tenon through this way with the domino, which I'll show you. And you can see what I mean, the domino is definitely adding strength because it is a tenon, even in a mitre, whether it be this way or that way. Okay, so the last way of all without the expensive tools could be something like this, where you put a clamp here and here. I tend to put it a few mil away so that it pulls up. You do have the problem of that joint not always lining up, and it's hard to pinch it. Sometimes you put a clamp there and then one there with a bit of pressure just to keep it square. Or even cheaper, make your own ply square, stick that in the corner. You can see how good that Lamello is. That is absolutely perfect. And you can just clamp it there and there. I can imagine some people are going to say, oh, he's got more money than sense, he's buying a Lamello, he's got Festool. That's fine, but this is my business. I'm trying to make a living designing furniture. And going forward, it's a really difficult market. We're going against CNC, factory stuff, IKEAs of this world. So, you know, it's a difficult task, and to be perfectly honest, I would imagine the Lamello is less than, what, a month's wages if I employed someone to help me with these glue ups, and then next month I've got to pay them again and again and again. So these tools are actually my version of having a second set of hands, or some sort of helping hand in the shop to help me with my glue ups, to help me with my designs and builds. And this system just opens a whole nother world of ideas for me. Stuff that can be built quite simply to keep the cost down, flat packed. This little table for sitting at your sofa, or something I'm really pleased with was the TV cabinet, how slick it looks and simple it is to construct. I'll do more on the Lamello when I buy one, and any questions in the comment please, and then you'll get them answered when I get the machine. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.